everybody, Gina DeLuca here. All right, as you can see, I have my canvas already prepared for a straight pour. This color is not showing up on the canvas as glorious as it is with the naked eye. This is a mixture of Liquitex Basics Dioxazine Purple and Phthalo Blue, and it makes just a beautiful indigo color, which really looks spectacular in person. It's appearing very dark on the, at least the way that I see it on my screen there. These colors are all custom blended. So I start with a mixture of Decoart Americana Decor Metallics in Amethyst, Sapphire, which is a very bright blue, and the Deep Sapphire, which is a much deeper blue. So I have those three colors in this cup. In this cup, I have those three colors and the sterling silver in the Decoart. And then this one is mostly the sterling silver with a touch of that added. This is kind of going to be a monochromatic piece, and that is how you get your monochromatic palette, is by blending your color to the darkest color and then lighter versions of it. And what that will do is give you, hopefully, with this particular formula that I'm using, hopefully you get those gorgeous Boulder cells. And because of the nature of those colors, when they blend, it looks very 3D. It looks like highlights and shadows. There doesn't appear to be very much of a difference between these two colors, but there is definitely a difference. It's subtle, but when it's in the painting, it won't be quite as subtle. These paints have been mixed 1 part paint to 2 parts Floetrol. That mixture is then thinned with my concoction of 90% water, 10% Floetrol. I need to make some more. And the consistency that we are working with, it's about a 2 on my consistency scale. It is making a mound, but it disappears pretty quickly. That is the best consistency that I've found for using with metallics. If you mix to a 1, you will have your pigments separate and kind of form a layer on top, which can look really cool in certain designs that you might be going for, but that's not what I'm going for this time. Before we get started, have you seen the Fluid Art inspiration cards? If you have, you can fast forward about a minute, but if you have not, what we have are 52 cards. There are 42 technique cards, and each technique card has a video associated with it on YouTube, so you can get all of the fine details, the exact paints, the technique, how to do it, the pouring medium that I'm using, all that good stuff. There's a box right here that has a tip for that particular technique. And then there's a color palette at the bottom that goes along with that particular painting. There are also 8 bonus color palette cards. Each one of those has 5 color palettes, and you can use all of the colors or just some of the colors. Takes out some of the guesswork for you. And you can mix and match the technique cards with the palette cards, and you have many thousands of combinations. And also you can use the palettes for other forms of art or crafts like crochet, beadwork, and what have you. These are available at my website, ginadeluca.net, and now they're also available at Amazon. The first thing I'm going to do is put some of my paint in the cup. I always like to make sure that I have enough for my pour. I have put down my base coat before and then realized that I didn't have enough to get the proper reaction between these paints. And I'm going to try to leave a little bit to pour on top. We'll see. We'll see if I have enough. So the reason that we are putting down this base coat is so that your poured paint slides around easily and you don't wind up distorting your composition. The paint on the bottom has to stick to the canvas. But if you have a base coat, the paint that you pour will just slide around on that base coat. Makes a world of difference. And I cover my edges because straight pours are, the way that I do them, mixed pretty thin. And it doesn't always give the best coverage on the sides, but I do get the coolest reactions when I go very thin. The reason that these cells pop up, it is called the Rayleigh-Taylor instability. It is one of the laws of fluid dynamics. All right, my base coat is down and now it's time to put some paint in a cup. I'm going to start with my darkest color and I'm pouring from up high because I want these to blend. Always be sure to check your consistency. Give it a little bit of a stir before you go, just to make sure it didn't thicken up on you. When you pour from up high, the paints sink. And when they sink, when you pour it out, you have a better chance of getting cells. So the best paints that I have found for getting this reaction is when I use a matte paint as a cell maker and then something a bit glossier as my background. So there's the base coat, which is this, which is the paint that is on the canvas already. And then I have my background, which is that same color that goes in the cup. And that is the color that will become the background and then the cells pop through it. Or you can call it your lacing if you want. However you want to look at it. Okay, so I do have enough to do a bit over top. I just started doing it like this, and I really do find I've been getting good results by just covering up the paints that were kind of lingering on the top. The stuff that you scrape it out, it doesn't sink. But now I have cells that are trying to pop up already. So let's get this party started. And I just realized that I forgot to torch my, where's the torch? I forgot to torch my base coat. Got to get rid of those bubbles those little bubbles can pop up through your painting. And if you're winding up with tiny bubbles, the same color as your base coat, that is what it is. That's why I stopped using white, unless I have white in the painting. I used to use white as my base coat for everything because I like the way that it provides a bright background, particularly for transparent. Got a cat hair. Snow's cat hair here. But those little bubbles that would pop up, I found quite annoying, especially if there wasn't any white in my painting. So that's why I started using the same color paint as my background. All right, you can see some cells popping up already. And I'm just gonna pour this in a slow ring. Oh, this is gonna be super cool. I can already tell. Sometimes it's just magic as it comes out of the cup. Giving it my little Fibonacci twist. I have not been doing so good on my Fibonacci's. I lost my touch. I'm kind of spinning it funny. I was out of practice a little bit. Just because I feel like there might be some parts lurking here. That should help. I could just see it. I could see it, and I know when, you know, when you stretch it out, when you play with it, it's just going to get bigger. If you know what I'm saying. All right. I think I thwarted that. Okay. I'm going to torch the pour because there are a ton of bubbles created. But those bubbles that you see, especially down in this section, when you pop them, sometimes it's from the layer underneath. And when it pops, it brings that paint up with it. It's trying to get through. It wants to make cells. These are matte paints with a glossier paint. It doesn't have to be very glossy. It just needs to be glossier. Oh, this is gonna be amazing. I can tell already. I'm getting excited. Yeah, definitely a good call. Good call him a little squiggle there. That could have gone awry. And as I let this sit, more of these cells pop up. And then what happens is when I stretch it, those cells just get bigger. And if you're very careful with how you tilt, you can really control the composition. And if you tilt slowly, you can just get those cells to just grow and grow. If you tilt really quickly, you can sometimes just pop those cells. And so you get cells within cells, which can be cool, but sometimes you lose that cool Boulder effect that you will see. It'll be more obvious as it gets stretched. You know, and the bubbles keep coming up. And as they keep coming up, you can keep popping them. Always being careful though not to singe your paint. All right, I think this is ready to be stretched. I have plenty of boulders happening down here already. And I'm going to go to this corner first. I don't know why, but it just seems like that corner always sets itself up first. It already has like a little bit of a preference. Okay, bringing back to center. Before I change directions, and what direction do I want to go? I think this way. Bigsby and Satchmo were having a conversation right before I started painting. They were to each other. And I've heard people say, oh, cats don't meow in nature. It's just something that they do to catch a human's attention. Man, I don't care what anybody says. Those two cats were having a conversation. Okay, again, bringing it back to center. And then I'm going to do this corner because I want to stretch these boulders out. All right. Oh, this is just going to be glorious. These colors, I don't know if this camera is picking up the colors the way that I'm seeing them. But that indigo in the background with these snowy blues. And there's just like a hint of purple to it. Very, very subtle. I think Bigsby actually wants to play. He's my cranky boy. He's 15. I've had him for 9 years. He was 6 when I got him. I got him from the pound. And I went there to look at a Siamese cat that they had. And he was below the Siamese cat. It was the first Siamese cat I've ever met that had no personality whatsoever. And he was down there talking to me the whole time. I looked at every cat in that place, and there were many. And I said to the lady, who's been here the longest? And she said, actually, it was the first cat that you looked at, because I took him out before I took any of the others out. She said, he's been here for 6 months, and I don't understand why no one wants him. He's one of the sweetest cats here. And I said, wrap him up. And he came home, and he was so happy. He was scared at first, but he was still very, very happy. Lots of purrs and headbutts. Okay, I'm just trying to wrangle my composition to where I want it. My weight is pretty much in the center. And I'm just trying to get the focal point where I wanted it. Yeah. Bada bling, bada bang. Oh my goodness gracious. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, I'm in love with this one. I have a feeling that when Josh gets home, he's going to be like, you can't sell that one. Oh, yeah. Totally digging this one. Okay, I am going to clean up, and I'm going to bring you in for a close-up of these absolutely amazing Boulder cells. Amazing. So much 3D action on this one. And even though those blues didn't look very different in the cups, you can definitely see it on the painting. It's subtle, but that's kind of what makes it work, what makes it look 3D. And there's probably going to be some more cells popping up in between, and so we'll see what it does. And I'll be back in a few. Okay, here it is. Oh my goodness gracious. I am loving this one. Look how 3D those Boulder cells are. So much bling. It is flashy and subtle at the same time. And then these rings look super 3D. That little spiral really helped. That could have been dangerous. But you can see where the lightest color comes in. It just gives it highlights. Really gives it that 3D appearance. So cool. Well, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like and share and subscribe. It helps me stay afloat in that YouTube algorithm. The evil algorithms. The ever-changing, keep moving the goalpost algorithms. But definitely check out the description box below for links to my PayPal tip jar if you feel so inclined, and also all of my wonderful affiliate links. Blick Art, Arteza, Amazon. If you enter through those links, anything that you purchase off of those websites, I will get a commission of at no additional cost to you. A great way to give back without costing you anything extra. How cool is that? Wowee. I think that might be the thumbnail because holy smokes. So cool. Also in the description box, you will find the link to my website, GinaDeLuca.net, where you can find my art and music for sale, as well as the fluid art inspiration cards, which are also available on Amazon. And last but not least, our Facebook group. Go make some art. Join us there. Post your masterpieces. Ask your questions. Get some inspiration. And that is it for me. I just heard Josh pull into the garage and my Indian food is here. Yay. All right, y'all. I hope you have a beautiful day. Now go make some art.